Now go live to the third edition of the Non-Oil Export Summit, where the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, is expected to deliver a keynote address.
Thought of $200 billion in non-oil exports in 3 to 5 years. And today we're here to look at that journey so far, 18 months into that marathon. This is one aspect of exports that can be easily thought through from bottom to the top. All the aspects of manufacturing, all the aspects of logistics, all the aspects of financing, all the aspects of market share in the global economy can be covered easily if you're dealing with non-oil exports. So what we have gathered here to do today is really important. I'm happy to note that there has been progress, but of course we'll discuss the challenges as the morning goes by. So it is a real honor and pleasure to welcome all of you here this morning, and thank you so very much for coming. I hope that you go away with a record of the successes and that you would have contributed to finding solutions to the challenges that we'll highlight today. Thank you very much and good morning.
I need to first and foremost apologize. This man that I brought here under duress without being the one to do it, conscripted like a military and delivered excellently, was not supposed to do this. Let's put our hands together for him, ladies and gentlemen. Let's appreciate him. Thank you, Dr. Obiora. But the man who was supposed to do it, it's a quantity surveyor with a very large mind for banking assignment. I'd like to say, Mr. Edward Adamu, I apologize. You should have stepped forward to do this, and I would fine required. And so I'd like to welcome you now, Mr. Edward Adamu, to please step forward here. Yes, even if just to step, okay, you think he has done it? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. And so, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our keynote address to be delivered by a man that spent over 27 years in commercial banking and took that service to the zenith when he joined the Central Bank of Nigeria. A banker, an economist with a passion for the development of Nigeria. Please join me as I welcome here Mr. Godwin Emefiele, Governor, Central Bank of Nigeria, for the keynote address.
Please sit, please sit. Your Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, duly represented by the Commissioner for Economic Planning, Deputy Governors and Directors of the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Chairman of the Body of Banks, CEOs and CEOs of banks here present, our very important stakeholders here. I see Customs, I see Nigerian Ports Authority, I see the Shippers Council, I see the entire banking industry here represented. Good morning, and I welcome you here this morning. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. Let me start by refreshing your memory that the biennial Non-Oil Export Summit is one of the cardinal pillars of the RT200 program, and it is today we are holding the third session. Today's event, the third in series of this summit, is therefore an opportunity to reevaluate our performance and rebalance our processes for the RT200 program. Accordingly, the theme of today's summit is RT200,
challenges, and prospects to success. This team was carefully selected to review the progress made so far from inception of the RT200 program during the first half of 2022. This team will equally enable us x-ray the challenges and opportunities associated with the program and profile workable solutions for successful implementation of the program for greater results going forward. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this biennial non-oil export summit provides a platform to deliberate on how to accelerate the value and volume of Nigeria's non-oil exports and ensure that proceeds therefrom are utilized most optimally for the benefit of our economy. This is the reason we have invited you, eminent personalities and distinguished professionals, to share groundbreaking ideas on boosting non-oil export earnings in Nigeria. At today's summit are various high-level presenters who will be speaking on key thematic areas that drive exports. For any export to a warehouse established outside India, for instance, with the permission of the Reserve Bank of India, export proceeds can be repatriated within 15 months from the date of shipment. Many countries of the world have these requirements to ensure effective export repatriation back to their countries. Ladies and gentlemen, we will agree that the challenges facing our country today are many and evolving. These challenges require the enactment of unconventional, innovative, supportive, and complementary macroeconomic policy actions that are inclined towards a market-based financing system. Some of these innovative ideas could spring from deep system thinking and powered by technology to engender growth and rapid transformation. Unfolding global economic development suggests that monetary policy was reaching its limit and would need complementary help from other spheres of the economy to propel for sustainable advancement. Our Naira for Dollar and RT200 initiatives are all attempts in that direction to drive long-run economic development. Today, I am happy to note that the RT200 program has made, and I use the word, tremendous progress in export proceeds repatriation since its establishment in February 2022. When we started between February and March, because we were taking quarterly numbers, in February of 2022 and March, it was only 62 million. By the second quarter, which was April to June, it had risen to about 600 million. By the third quarter, July to August or September, it had risen to over 900 million. Available data shows that repatriation due to the program increased by 40% from $3 billion in 2021 to $5.6 billion at the end of 2022. The momentum for 2023 is equally showing strong numbers and impressive prospects. In the first quarter of 2023, a total of $1.7 billion was repatriated to the economy, while about $970 million was sold into the INA window year to date. The balance of the proceeds remained in the export domiciliary account of our exporters. And please note that proceeds that are not sold at the INA window cannot and will not be eligible for our rebate. So we encourage holding their export proceeds in their domiciliary accounts to take advantage of rebates by selling their proceeds to the INA window. And I think it's also important that I say that given the tight global financial market condition that we find ourselves today, where sometime last year we saw when rates began to grow aggressively at the global financial market, we saw almost close to about $100 billion outflows from emerging markets back to the United States. Rates have gone high, and there has been tremendous difficulty by emerging markets in their ability to source foreign exchange. I am not sure in the whole of 2022 we saw any, I use the word, significantly successful Eurobond because of the tight financial market. And that is the reason we see this opportunity to continue to appeal that a lot of work still needs to be done for us here in Nigeria, by us here in Nigeria. I was watching a television program yesterday when Bosin Omofaye was interviewing the chief economist at a global program yesterday. And he was asking her about the state of the global financial market. And she was very quick in saying that the market remains very tight, and that what the IMF is calling on countries to do is to begin to look at local resources. How do you harness your strengths and generate revenues, not just the Naira in this case, for you to run your fiscal operations, but also diversify economy in a state to a state where you are able to source, to export and raise revenues, foreign currency revenues, to meet the import obligation of people who would like to import. Our journey towards diversifying the base of the Nigerian economy has always been there. We've always talked about it. But I must say that we have given this a lot of intensity in the last 4, 5, I say about 6 years. And I never forget the story, and I will tell the story again. On May 22nd, when President Muhammadu Buhari, supported by the president-elect, will be commissioning the Dangote refinery. And the story is this, that we were about to be expelled, and I use the word expelled, from the JP Morgan Index. And we were telling them about what we'll be doing, the stories we'll be doing, what we'll be doing in the country to diversify the base of the Nigerian economy. We talked about the fact that in line with the president's dream, that we will continue to make sure that we produce what we eat and eat what we produce. That is import substitution. And that as much as possible, we will also see how we can deepen our export potentials to raise export earnings for our country so that we can fund our import operation. They said, how do you intend to raise your export? And I used our big brother, the richest black man on earth, as an example, because at that time, the Dangote refinery was the foundation stone laying ceremony had just been done about 6 years ago. And I said, we are going to be building a refinery where we will no longer be importing petrol. And we will not just be producing and consuming our petrol locally, we will be exporting petrol. They didn't believe it, because what did they say? They said, building refinery is a project meant for sovereigns. That building refinery is not meant for individuals, and that I was talking about an individual building a refinery. Up till last month, even when we talk about Dangote refinery will kick off soon, and I kept saying 2023, I said December 2022. I kept saying, they say no, it won't happen. But today I am happy that, and I will keep telling the story, that we are at the verge of commissioning the Dangote refinery. A round of applause for Dangote refinery. I am saying this because it is not easy for you to make a commitment, and after making the commitment, you work tirelessly towards ensuring that you achieve that commitment. The story of the success of our RT200 program, which is raised to $200 billion in 5 years, I believe is a story that we will tell successfully, I'm sure, by the end of this year. Aside from the fact that, yes, Nigeria today is the largest producer of rice, which was one of my testimonies, or one of the testimonies I give today, because of the commitment I made about 7 years ago at New York, at the JP Morgan Index team. I am happy that we have made other progress. At that time, 6, 7 years ago, in the production of fertilizer, or the base raw material for fertilizer, which is urea, only Indorama was working effectively with one train at that time, 1.5 million metric tons. Indorama was struggling. And at that time, we also had Notori that was also struggling. Even till now, Notori is still managing and struggling. After that, in the course of our push, encouraging companies into export, we saw Indorama also now commissioning their second train, bringing their total capacity to 3 million metric tons of urea annually. Dangote, when he started this project, he had 3 projects in one. He had a Dangote urea or Dangote fertilizer, he had a Dangote petrochemical, and also had a Dangote refinery. A project of almost about $18.5 billion, with equity contribution that I know today, equity of over $15 billion. He has worked very hard to put this project together. One of those projects is his 3 million metric tons fertilizer plant, which was commissioned last year by President Muhammadu Buhari. So today, from just less than 1 million metric tons 5, 6 years ago, Nigeria, and then let's not forget the history of Nigeria. Nigeria used to import fertilizer. Fertilizer used to be one of the essential commodities that were being imported into the country. There were a lot of scandals involving importation of fertilizer into Nigeria. Today, Indorama has 3 million metric tons capacity. Aliko Dangote fertilizer has 3 million tons capacity. Indorama has 500,000 tons capacity. Nigeria has grown to being a country that has fertilizer production capacity of 6.5 million metric tons. We have grown from a country that imports fertilizer. That's not, for purpose of data, Nigeria's own requirement is only 1 million metric tons. So today, Nigeria has grown from a country that imports fertilizer to a country that has achieved import substitution in fertilizer production and is now exporting fertilizer to. That is a major story. So we have transited from being an importer to a country that produces its own fertilizer for domestic use, and we have transited further down into being an exporter of fertilizer. And I know there are many other products that have been imported, but the giant of them all comes by the special grace of God on May 22nd, when that fertilizer plant will begin to flare. And after a few weeks after that, we will feel, not just see or dream, we will feel that Nigeria now produces its own products, petroleum products. That is what goes into not just commitment, but commitment that translates into action and that translates into result. I've decided to give these testimonials so that those of us who are exporters in this hall, those of you who truly urge to become exporters, that we are available to give you all the needed support. We are ready to break our back to ensure that we provide all the resources that you need for you to achieve this goal. And that's the reason we said, when we launched this program, that we have about 500 billion naira available for you to, as facilities, as an export facility for you to be able to do whatever you need to do, whether you want to import some plants, to process your export materials and the rest of them. That facility, the disbursement on that facility, I must confess, is as of today still suboptimal. We'd like to encourage you. And indeed, at this meeting, it's an opportunity for you to name and shame if there is a bank that you have spoken to that has not responded to you, so that we can appeal to that bank to be more responsive. Because by being responsive to what you want, we are able to source export proceeds that helps our economy. We're able to generate export proceeds that wins us away from depending on Central Bank of Nigeria as our source of foreign exchange to meet our imports. It is a dream, and I pray that it comes true very soon. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to assure you that the bank is committed to strengthening and expanding foreign exchange supply into the market. Naturally, you are all important in this clarion call of expanding the supply of foreign exchange inflows into our economy. For exporters flying the flag of Nigeria in the international market, the Bankers Committee and the CBN stands ready to partner with you to achieve your goals. You can benefit from the many financial programs introduced by the CBN through your bank, and as such, grow your business exponentially. I therefore call on all of us to candidly interact this morning and afternoon or today and make constructive and innovative suggestions towards exploring the non-oil export sector as a more sustainable means of increasing financial flows into the economy and generating employment to support growth of our country. To ensure close interaction between operators and participants, you will notice that this year, we invited banks to erect booths outside the hall to display their various non-oil export products for easy access to exporters that may be interested in expanding their business or going into value addition. We plead with you to take advantage of the opportunity offered by this endeavor to visit their stands and acquaint and update yourselves of the available bank services and patronize them. Some of our top exporters have also set up booths to share their success stories and their experiences regarding the RT200 program. I equally enjoin everyone to visit these stands and hear their success stories. Ladies and gentlemen, I will conclude by stating that this is the time for all of us to work together to reposition Nigeria on a sustainable growth trajectory by taking diversification of our economy indeed seriously. There is no better time than now to synergize for the benefit of our nation as we implement a coordinated policy agenda that will support the economy and improve economic activities. I thank you all for your attention.
Thank you very much, the Governor of the Central Bank. Shall we put our hands together one more time for him? For the love he has for country, for his passion in pushing the non-oil sector. Let me quickly welcome here a businessman and industrialist, founder, chairman, CEO, of the Dangote Group, the largest industrial conglomerate in Africa. I'd like to welcome here Alhaji Aliko Dangote, GCON. Also here, representing His Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, is an engineer, a banker, and a man of many parts. I'd like to welcome here the Commissioner in charge of Economic Planning and Budget, Mr. Samuel Egube. Welcome. And so, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Governor has laid the foundation. We now have a roadmap. But we also need to understand the intricacies, the challenges, the prospects in the non-oil sector in Nigeria. And that's why we have this short documentary on the non-oil export in Nigeria.
Since the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, launched the Race to $200 billion foreign exchange repatriation program in collaboration with the Bankers Committee in February 2022, the policy, tagged the RT200 FX program, has made bold efforts to tackle the challenges of foreign exchange flows to the country through boosting non-oil sector capacity to attract foreign exchange flows. The RT200 FX program, which is anchored on 5 pillars, namely value-adding exports facility, non-oil commodities expansion facility, non-oil FX rebate scheme, dedicated export terminal financing, and biannual non-oil export summit, is a set of policies, plans, and programs for non-oil exports aimed at helping Nigeria attain the goal of $200 billion in FX repatriation exclusively from non-oil exports over a period of 3 to 5 years. 15 months after its launch and based on available data, the program has recorded various levels of success that are pointers to the fact that we can boost the productivity and earning capacity of the Nigerian economy, thereby preserving the long-term value of our currency as well as the stability of our exchange rate.
I think the rebate scheme has been successful. The intent was to encourage exporters who want to bring their earnings, their foreign currency earnings into the country and also sell it into the market, thereby making more foreign currency available. The rebate was the incentive that they would earn a bit more if they came into the market than if they just kept it for themselves. It helped to bridge the notion that there was a significant gap between what they call the official and the unofficial rate. And I think it's been successful because from the numbers that I see, we've grown significantly in terms of the amounts that have been made available. So while repatriation has gone up a bit, the sale into the market has been very, very significant.
At the maiden and second non-oil export summits held in Lagos in June and November 2022, respectively, the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, underscored the commitment of the CBN and its partners in making the policy a considerable success.
This scheme was designed to incentivize exporters in the non-oil export sector to repatriate and sell their export proceeds in the local foreign exchange market and earn a rebate to boost their income. I'm happy to inform you that we have recorded a significant increase in non-oil export repatriation and have paid eligible exporters a rebate. The signals and initial reactions that I received from our people in trade and from the banks have shown that a lot more people who are engaged in exports, people who have found it difficult exporting and then repatriating their funds, have embraced this program, and we're happy that we are making very, very good progress.
True to Emefiele's words, the bank, in line with its mandate, is allocating funds across the export value chain including processing and agricultural fields for primary productions. Between November 2022 and March 2023, the bank has disbursed an additional 96.2 billion naira under non-oil export financing, bringing the total disbursement to 243.93 billion naira.
Through the RT200 initiative, the non-oil export sector in 2022 recorded a significant growth of $5.599 billion compared to $3.19 billion in 2021, with a growth rate of 71.51%. Over $1.74 billion has also been repatriated within the past 3 months in the non-oil sector in 2023. Under the non-oil FX rebate scheme, an incentive to encourage exporters, mostly on value addition, the bank paid out 136.58 billion naira to exporters in 2022, with 25.04 billion naira paid out in the first quarter of 2023.
Over $1.36 billion has also been repatriated within the past 3 months in the non-oil sector in 2023. Under the non-oil FX rebate scheme, an incentive to encourage exporters, mostly on value addition, the bank has paid out 78.35 billion naira to exporters between June 2022 and April 2023.
In terms of progress, obviously we had objectives in mind when the program was set up. And so when you look at total exports, for example, in Nigeria, for 2021, which was a year where we were recovering from COVID, where most countries experienced fall in exports. In 2021, Nigeria's exports rose by about 27.1%. But in 2022, obviously given the RT200 program, we saw an increase of 39.5% in total exports. And now within this bucket of total exports, non-oil exports itself grew almost 40%. The real number is 39.7%. And within this non-oil exports growth, for the first time in a long time, manufactured goods grew by 36.6%.
We'll take a short break now from that coverage of the CBN event.